everybody. Welcome back to your favorite podcast, your favorite local podcast, especially the No BS podcast with Harry and Sean. It's been a week. It's been a lot. And
It's
of
been a lot.
course, we're coming off TSU homecoming, Sean, but you were down there, right?
I went to the fish fry. First time ever going to the TSU
Really?
homecoming. First time ever. Tons of people were out there on the president's line. It was great to be out there and see all the vendors already setting up for a weekend of activity. So I got to check out that. Of course, I was at the parade on Saturday, and the parade was massive. I feel like there were a lot more people this year than last year. So it was good to
Never.
see. Good to see Black people come together and have
It's a
fun.
family reunion.
It is, and it was great. No BS happened. Everybody was
Very
cool,
good.
and a big shout out to Metro Police because they were everywhere. I mean, compared to years prior, I
Mhm.
mean they were in there. Their little small little like four-wheeler. I mean, they were all types of vehicles. Police were present. They were there, even dancing like to some of the music. Like they were there.
Really?
Yeah, it was good to see the local police department there for sure to make sure that everybody was safe and also just kind of mixing and mingling with the community. I mean, I think it meant a lot for TSU and especially for Nashville because we've had some issues in the past. So it was great to
Yeah.
see.
Well, that's good. I haven't done TSU homecoming. I think probably about it's been maybe about 3 or 4 years. I grew up going to TSU homecoming because I mean, like everybody else, but my mom worked there. She worked in the nursing department, so that building right there along the strip.
Yeah.
Oh man, we'd have the front row seats, and the parade is like the highlight. It's always been the highlight of TSU homecoming, and then used to be, I guess, the tailgating. Oddly enough, not the game, but I don't know, like I feel like I've got to a certain age, like I'm tired. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt, the mug, and some little socks and footies and all that to go with it. I'm like, y'all can have it. This is my time where I'm going everywhere else in the city that I want to go because everybody is in North Nashville. Everybody is down there on Jefferson Street. So I'm like, y'all
Yeah.
can have it. But
Yeah.
anyway, I'm glad everything's
If you're
great.
black, you were in North Nashville for sure this weekend.
Absolutely.
That's where everybody was.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I am glad to hear it. Now that we know that it's been great for TSU homecoming and beautiful weather, by the way, thank you so much,
Absolutely.
Mother Nature. It was
Absolutely.
perfect. But we got to get into the whole point of this show where we call BS. And I got something I need to call BS on. So do you mind if I go first, Sean? Can I
Go
can
for
I get it
it. Go
first?
for it.
Thank you so much. I'm ready. Give me my time. Give me my time. All right, let's talk about this right here. And I got to give a big shout out to all the big networks who came together, including Fox News. All of them rallied together. Why is that? Because the Pentagon press corps is under attack. And I'm going to say it as a journalist, this is just not right. So you have Secretary Hegseth and the Defense Department that put out a 21-page policy, new requirements for people in the press corps, hundreds of journalists and outlets. One of those is you're going to have your credentials snatched if you ask for tips. You also cannot request any documents, authorized, unauthorized, or anything. This is a problem. The journalists, many of them decided not to sign it, walked out. And you just have a few international and a couple of domestic media outlets still will be reporting from the Pentagon press corps. This is a challenge. This is muting the truth to an extent. This is censoring and silencing people. We have to have access to the truth and keep accountability and accuracy on the board. This cannot stand. Give me
You
my
can't.
buzzer. I don't care, but don't give me that 21-page policy. That is
No.
an
No.
atrocity and a
That
crime.
can't stand. And for it's we'll get into it.
No.
We'll get into it because I could go on for the entire hour talking about what this all leads to. It all leads up to this whole king idea and
Yes.
a dictatorship and keeping people. It almost makes you feel like are we in China? China controls their media from
Yes.
all aspects of media. Is that where we are? Where
Yeah.
we can't report the truth and let people see the facts for what they are and come to a determination themselves based off of the information provided.
This is
That
a dangerous jump off of a very
it
high and
is.
scary cliff. And I'm just going to say, I'm sorry. I just have to say this one last thing that I'm going to turn it over to you for your BS. But the same people who have stood 10, 20, 30 toes down on defending their Second Amendment right, then cut the feet off of the First Amendment. You cannot salad bar buffet people's rights. We either have them or we don't, whether we
No.
agree with them or not. It's just, this is not a buffet. People bled for these rights, and you can't just come cherry pick them. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm done.
No.
Your turn.
No, because you're fine, because it all goes back to if it's my way or the highway when it comes to this administration. It's do what I say, how I want to do it. And as long as I like it, as long as he likes it, it's okay. But if he doesn't like it, no one should know about it. No one should talk about it. Everybody should be against it because he doesn't. That's just that's not this country. It's not this country. And it's sad that that's the direction that we're going.
No, I'm not here for it. As long as I have the mouth that God gave me and the gift that he blessed me with, I'm going to put the truth out there and let everyone else decide. It's not my place to decide what you believe and know is truth. Okay. If you pay taxes in this country, if you vote, if you have a voice, if you live here, then you have a right to know how your money's being spent, if it's being spent appropriately, who's doing what, where, when, why, and how, especially if you elected them. This is our country, not a few people's country. And the media plays a very critical and integral role in people understanding what is happening behind doors that they can't see. If my life, my livelihood, my safety depend on the decisions that you are making, documents you are processing and passing, and money that you are spending, you doggone right, I have a right to know where that is. And if the media is the outlet and the window to let me know, do not strip my right. If you stand on the second, you better stand on the first just the same.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm done.
Totally agree.
I'm done. All right, your turn. What you got?
Okay. So, all right. So
I figure out who you are soon enough. And you know, I sometimes think about, you know what? I am not president of the United States.
Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy for the simple fact that Kamala Harris is doing a book tour. She's simply just doing a book tour, talking about her book, 107 Days. And you've got these protesters that are going to her book signing and her Q&A, and literally basically blaming her for where we are. You know, why is this happening? You know, what is going on with Gaza? And she stood up and said, enough is enough. I'm not the president. If you have an issue, take it up with the man that's in the White House. She really should have stood down and said, I told your ass so. It's what she really should have said. Because at the end of the day, all these people that have all of a sudden got all mouths and all these things to complain about to her, who lost, guarantee they didn't get out and vote. Guarantee you didn't get out and actually pound the pavement and make phone calls and knock on doors. I guarantee you didn't do that. But now that she's not in the White House, now you got some things you want to complain to her about. You're complaining to the wrong person. Where you should be complaining to is the person in that White House. Why are you going to her rallies, going to her Q&A, and jumping down her throat? For what reason? She's trying to sell a book. She's trying to tell you what happened during this election campaign. So I don't understand. I call BS on that. It's because everybody, it's for me, it's like everybody's afraid. So many people are afraid to go against this man. So many people are afraid to stand up and tell him that you're wrong and that you're not putting my best interest in heart. There's so many people who'd rather go and complain to her and say that she's the lie and the reason why we have this issue. No, she's not. No, she's not. So I call BS on all those protesters. They're going and wasting your time to try to call her out. No, she did everything she could do. Everything she could do. She lost. Go complain to him.
I feel like it's like when you've got a good friend or your boo, your spouse or whatever, and it's like, I love you, I got your back always, but this you're just wrong on, and I gotta be a good friend or whatever and let you know when you're wrong. I feel like, listen, no person is perfect. Everybody is fallible. People sometimes kind of lose themselves and make bad decisions. And if and when the president is wrong on something, you gotta call it out. Like Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's like, listen, I've been standing with y'all, but on this, I gotta call BS. And that's what you
I'm
have to
proud of her
do.
for that.
You can support him as president. You can support this person as governor, mayor, whatever. But when they make a bad move, you gotta, if you care for them, if you care for your country, you gotta call it out. But real quick, I may be petty, but I love how TT Kamala, big sis Kamala, okay, all of that sis came out of her. She was like, hold on.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. I
The
was
thing
here.
about it is, if you watch more clips, she's been coming out of pocket in several different cities, and she has every right to, because she's not running. She's literally talking about what happened. So she's telling her truth really the way that she has wanted to tell her truth. And so I'm here for it. I'm excited because I want to hear you be real with us about what actually happened. And I've got the book. I got the book for my birthday, so I haven't started reading it yet, but I'm excited to read it because I know that she's laid a lot of things out that we didn't know. You know, who she really wanted for her VP choice, you know, how she felt about President Biden at the convention. She felt like that his speech was not really in support of her. It was more about him uplifting his legacy and not really putting a cosign on her. And if you really think about it, did he really put a cosign on her? I think he really was still talking about, I could beat Trump. He was really standing firm on the fact that he's the only one that could beat Trump. But since nobody wanted him to run, all right, well, she'll be okay. But I don't really feel like he ever really put his whole full endorsement behind her. And clearly for her book, she understands that he didn't do that either. And so she's laying things out that we needed to know. We need to understand, number one, how she put together what I consider to be an amazing campaign for the last 107 days of this whole election cycle. She did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
The cards were just not in her favor, and they weren't.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. And now we're in the mess that we're in, because I truly believe we would not be in the mess that we're in right now if she was in that White House. We know this. We know this. And she's saying it. She told us everything on the campaign trail. If you elect this man, this is what's going to happen. And literally, word for word, line for line, it is happening. And she is on her tour, on her I told you so tour is where she's at. That's where she's at.
Yeah. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I want to read her book too. I'm more of an audio book or put it in a movie kind of girl, but you know, her book, I'll read it with a highlighter.
I wanted to own the actual physical book. I am going to get the audio piece, but I wanted the physical book. I'm hoping there'll be a chance I'll be able to see her so she could sign it. So
okay. Well, that's definitely a collectible at this point.
Yes.
Let's move on to something else. We've got to talk the troops in Memphis. This whole crime crackdown, the troops came in, Governor Lee and President Trump, they're finally rescuing Memphis from itself. Finally, we have help. And originally, right, it was just to suppress crime, bring everything down, make everyone safe. But Governor Lee had some comments early, about mid last week, and kind of threw everybody for a loop real quick. I want y'all to listen to this.
We've just begun. We do know that this is going to last for months, and we have just begun. In fact, I will tell you that it will last forever, because what we believe will happen is the numbers of law enforcement agents from different agencies will change depending on the mission at the moment. It'll be mission dependent. What we find this week will inform what we do next week. But we know that the surge that has taken place currently, that surge will diminish at some point. But what we learn from that surge, the collaboration that is happening right now between the U.S. Marshal Service and the Memphis Police Department and the FBI and the DEA and the Tennessee Highway Patrol, that collaboration that in some ways has never been this effectively executed, that collaboration will be here from now on. So this operation in some ways may never end. It'll just change in its scope as we execute through the mission. And obviously the goal is to minimize, if not approach the elimination of violent crime in the city of Memphis?
Forever is a really long time.
It is a long.
Forever is forever.
That's forever. That's
Um,
forever. But let's think about this for a second. Let's peel this back just for a second. He's
Okay.
talking about local authorities, the Memphis Police Department working in tandem with the Highway Patrol, with the FBI, with TBI, with the DEA. Isn't that what they should be doing in the first place? Shouldn't there be some kind of collaboration with all of these agencies to stamp down crime in every city, no matter where you are? Shouldn't that always be something that we should be doing? Shouldn't the TBI have a good working relationship with the Memphis Police Department? Shouldn't the FBI have a good working relationship with the Memphis Police Department? We're making it sound like we've never done this before. Oh my God, this is a brand new thing. We got all these departments working together to stamp down crime. Why have they not done it before? Memphis crime has been Memphis crime for years. It just didn't happen a year ago. Memphis has had bad crime for years. And I will say this again, Governor Lee, you have been in office for going on, you're going to wrap up your second term. And you've never done anything to help this city. And now all of a sudden, as you're on your way out and your buddy in the White House is going city to city and bringing and
Democratic city to city.
Democratic city to city, Black ran Democratic city to city, and spending millions of dollars. Now all of a sudden you're in the game. Now all of a sudden you're working, you're in Memphis, and we're getting rid of crime. We've arrested 500-600 people.
Which is another issue that's coming up. These are the unintended consequences, because even in Mississippi, I believe it's in Mississippi where they declared a state of emergency because the jails are now overrun with all of these arrests. And let's be clear, are these really acts of crime that you interrupted, or are these like outdated warrants and all of that, and you're just doing some basic stuff? But here's the other thing, and we also have to acknowledge that there's now a lawsuit that has been filed. We've got 7 lawmakers out of Tennessee who have filed a lawsuit because they're concerned with the forced presence. And I say forced because the folks in the city of Memphis, our leadership, were not in favor of that, but they didn't have a choice. Right? They're concerned with that. But then also the deployment of troops are supposed to have inclusion and decision-making power from the legislature, from the elected bodies. That did not happen. As a matter of fact, we've heard several elected officials who spoke out against this presence. And then also, in the event that there really is, and I guess it's depending on who you ask, a state of emergency, if there's something catastrophic, disastrous that happens, or truly an outbreak of disorder, massive outbreak of disorder, that would be a time when the legislative body would make that request. Well, all of that has been circumvented. They filed a lawsuit. I'm curious to see how this is going to end. But what are we going to do with all the jails that are now overrun? What are we going to do about funding? Because we need extra staff. And let's be honest, folks who are working the jails, they're already underpaid and overworked and probably calling out anyway. How are we going to mitigate that issue? And then the precedents that this sets. You can talk all day about wanting to suppress crime. I think everybody's in favor of that. It's the how we get there that is the issue. And then the precedents that this sets, that you just do what you want, forget the rules. And the law is not just a rule. We're looking at the law.
The law doesn't matter. The law doesn't matter with this administration. It doesn't matter. They break laws every single day. It doesn't matter about the law. This is a dictatorship move. This is an act of a king stepping into a city that's ran by a Black man because he doesn't believe that Black people are educated enough or smart, intelligent enough to be able to hold positions of this nature. So therefore, he's going to go into these cities that he believes are war zones, calling them war zones, and they're not war zones. Crime is high in Memphis, yes. Is it a war zone?
It's high in
No,
DC too, by the way.
exactly. But they're not war zones. Chicago is not a war zone. It's not. So, but you're making it look as if Black people aren't intelligent enough to be able to run these cities. And I want to always go back to the fact that Chicago crime is on the downturn. Memphis's crime is on the downturn. DC's crime was all these cities. Crime was going backwards, going down, double-digit drops. So all of these cities ran by Black mayors. They literally had their grasp on the crime and was moving it in the right direction. But you felt like this is the move you needed to make for you to shore up more of your base and to shore up more of the electorate, because the midterms are just around the corner. And this is just a ploy for that. This is just a play for that. Because I promise you, even though Governor Lee says, oh, this may be forever, let the midterms happen and Republicans keep control of the House and the Senate. You'll find all this stuff go away. You'll find all of this stuff just disappear. Well, we've done what we did. We brought crime down. We arrested so many people we can pull out now, because this is all of trying to rally up their base and give them this false illusion that it's going to take this man to fix everything in every single city. And it's not the case. That's not the case.
No.
Creating a false narrative about what these cities were already doing. But it also opens up the question I had, the statement that I had before. If you pulling in more resources and more DEA, more FBI, more TBI, more state troopers, if you're pulling in more resources into these cities and it's helping, why were we not doing that before?
Already.
Why were we not giving Memphis the money and the resources they needed to be able to move quicker and to have more sting operations, to tamp down all the gang violence and all the burglaries? Why were we not giving Chicago why were you not giving the own city that your White House is in, DC, the funding they needed in order to continue to move crime even faster? Why were we not doing that before? We didn't need to go to this drastic measure of all of these. And it's really just, it's for the cameras. It's for television. So we can get all video and screenshots of troops on the street. It is just for TV. All you got to do was provide the right resources to these cities to begin with. Why were we not doing that? Governor Lee, you're bullshit. You are straight up bullshit, because you have ran this state for 8 years and never cared about Memphis. But your best buddy, your boyfriend in the White House, all of a sudden has got a problem with it. And now you do too. No, you're bullshit. You're a fraud. And I'll be glad to see you leave. I'll be glad to see you leave, because you've done nothing for this state as a whole.
How do you really feel? We should have put that for your calling BS. But look, speaking of arrest, we have, a lot going on when it comes to ICE, right? And I just want to hit on this very quickly. We've talked ICE, detainment, all of that for so long, but also filling up the resources, the time, and all of that of local authorities are the ICE detainments. And we've been seeing protests around the country of people who are like, not in our city, ICE go away, we're not having it. But there's a bit of bad news, allegedly. It's a little sus, I'm not gonna lie, allegedly, that the cartels are getting into the game now. And allegedly, they put a bounty on the heads of ICE. And there's so much for, if you attack one, so much for if you kill another. I don't believe in violence. I don't condone violence at all. Not okay. They're moving at the direction that they were told. But, I don't know. I kind of feel like, it's at such a point now where it's like, can we truly believe everything that is coming out? I truly want to believe everything that comes from the Department of Defense. The Department of War now, as it's been named. I want to believe everything that comes from there, from the White House, from the Department of Agriculture. But things are so muddled. I don't know. Now, if that is the truth, I pray no one gets hurt. If it's not the truth, let's not rage bait. Let's not continue to paint people as criminals and monsters if they are not. I mean, if you in the cartel, you already doing enough bad. So it's like no one needs to add anything, you know. But anyway,
No, no, it's sad. It's sad, but you know, I can also understand to a certain extent if you really try to put yourself in their position why they're doing this, um, because of the way that the Hispanic community and other communities of color are being targeted, and you're seeing so much imagery of these ICE agents that are not using common sense and logic. They're using emotion and hate.
Mhm.
That they're out here in the streets using emotion and hate and not following the rule of law because they have people like Stephen Miller and this president and Pete Hegseth and JD Vance who are basically saying run wild and free and just lock them all up because we don't care. And then all you're
Yeah.
doing is you're igniting other people in that MAGA base who are speaking the same language, everyday regular citizens speaking the same language. Ship them all out of here.
Yeah.
Many of them were born here. And just because they speak a different language does not make them a US citizen, because and really it's because they're more intelligent than most of you. Most people who are bilingual are more intelligent than most other people.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they even, ooh, okay. They even arrested, I think it was in Chicago, a police officer. It's just,
You've
it's
seen
absurd.
police officers arrested. You've seen your U.S. representatives, state representatives, all arrested. People that are literally lawmakers getting arrested because their last name might be Sanchez or Lopez or Cortez or any of that,
Yeah.
or or you clearly know their English is not their first language. All of a sudden, they're in handcuffs and taken to a detention center, being detained for no apparent reason. Not even going through the process to find out exactly who this person is, to confirm who they say they are. Not even doing that. And these are people that are not breaking any laws. They're just speaking. They're just exercising their First Amendment right, and therefore you're putting them in handcuffs. It's a shame that's the country that we're in right now.
Well, we had a lot of people speaking their mind yesterday. Was it yes? No, early over the weekend. Over the weekend. At the No Kings rallies that were held around the country. I mean, you had thousands of people everywhere. And this is right here in Nashville, right, Sean?
It is. This is right here in Nashville, right on the Capitol Hill, where the snow sled hill, right there where the Capitol is. You have thousands of people that gathered to speak. And what the interesting thing that you see across the country is you're seeing a majority of white America in these protests. Yeah. You're seeing more white people that are standing up and saying, this is not our country. Mm-hmm. This is not who we are. And they're standing loud and proud. And this was considered to be the biggest protest in the history of this country. You're talking about hundreds of thousands from San Diego to New York to LA to Chicago. They were everywhere. And we had a big turnout here in Nashville as well, especially compared to the first one that was this summer. It was a much bigger turnout. And understanding the vibe, most of these pictures were taken by my better half, JoJo. He was down on the ground talking to people and taking pictures. And the one thing that he did tell me is that, yes, they're all standing up against this dictatorship that's happening and the way that we treat immigrants. But he said there was still a lot of joy and happiness because everybody was coming together and doing this peacefully. And they were coming together as one voice. And he said he didn't feel tension. You didn't feel a lot of anger. People were literally out happy to express their First Amendment right to be able to say, we stand up against, like this time, we stand up against queens and kings. This is not our country. There's no dictator here. And he said, so the energy there was incredible. And that's when you look at some of the other places, a lot of that sentiment was across the country. The energy was great because people are tired but they understand that if we all come together, then we can truly make something happen. And that's what it's going to take. It's going to take this entire country to come together to stand up against this man and his administration, especially as midterms come around the corner.
Oh,
we need to continue to see protests and more people get out in the street and say this, because this will change the outlook of these midterms in the favor of the country, as long as this continues to happen.
Yeah, I love. First of all, shout out to JoJo for going out there and for getting all of this. This is awesome. I am looking at all of these signs. You know, justice for immigrants. Where's Marsha? Right. And then this one right here, I think is my favorite. Make America humane again.
Yeah.
We can disagree. We can agree. We can lay out policy, we can do a number of things, but we have to do it in a humane way. When you think about the founding of this country, we moved away, we departed to explore more, expand, you know, into America. That's a whole nother historical, we're not going to unpack that because that's no.
Right.
But we were looking at a monarchy. We were looking at limitations. We were looking at suppression. And when our forefathers came over to America, they intently wrote the Constitution as a message, as an answer to where we were as a people before, to say, no, we're not going to do that. So when we come to the day where we are, where to the place where we are today in America, where people are snatched off the streets, where people are not allowed to say even just their opinion, not allowed to say it in the absence of retribution. When you are locked in cages and in crates like an animal, when you have your benefits and everything cut. I mean, there's a place in Tennessee over the weekend where children and adults with disabilities were forced to leave because we're in this shutdown and they can't get the help that they need, the learning that they need. I mean, we've got to return to a place of humanity. I mean, this is just, I can't, you know, and as we talk about where we are as a country with our leadership, they're already, as we already know, you don't want a king. Well, guess what? They are already lining everything up for President Trump to have a third term, even though the Constitution doesn't allow for it. They're calling for a third term for President Trump. There are several who are already out, who are trying to pave the way. We are seeing a lot of suppression that is happening, a lot of changing to the voting laws, voting rights, right? We're looking at President Trump, who is making a move to eliminate mail-in absentee ballots, you know, a number of changes that are happening, which is quite concerning, I would say, because that is also one of our fundamental rights as an American, as a human. That is our voice when we vote. So I want to hear, you know, Sean, are you ready for a third term with President?
No. I didn't want the second term.
I think that there are many different alternatives that at the appropriate time after the midterms in 26, we will roll out. But I think there are many different alternatives to make sure that President Trump is on the ballot. And if he's on the ballot, he'll win.
What are those alternatives? What is it? Because everything you're saying goes 150% against the Constitution. What is it that you exactly are doing? Because you might as well, if I don't know how, I need someone to explain to me what logic you have behind this that says that Trump is going to be able to run for a third term. And if that be the case, if you're going to let Trump run for a third term, Barack Obama, where are you?
Three-peat, okay?
Because come on back, because we all know that man is still extremely loved in this country. his approval ratings are still far beyond Donald Trump. And I think that even though I know this is not going to happen, you literally will have to throw the Constitution away and burn that damn thing up in order for you to run for a third term. You literally will have to do that. But if
they're redrawing, they've redrawn so many district lines. As I also mentioned, President Trump has said he is working on eliminating mail-in ballots. And then what's a little scary to hear Steve Bannon say, if he is on the ballot, he's going to win. Now, I'm like, I want to have good faith about it and think that that's just confidence in President Trump's popularity and not confidence in anything nefarious happening. Let me just say that.
It's all about something nefarious happening because, from my understanding, Trump's approval rating right now is at an all-time low. If I go and look, I believe his approval rating right now is sitting somewhere along the lines of, it stands at about a 42%. Now that's an all-time low, especially for him. At an all-time low. So 42%. You can't tell me that you are popular enough in this country when we see millions of people out in the street protesting against you. You can't tell me that this country is behind you. They're not. They're not behind you. This is the second protest, the second rally that we've had in the same year. And they're already planning a third one. You cannot tell me that this country wants this man in power. There is a fraction, yes. And is a large number of people, yes, that agree with him. And I even know, and what's crazy about it, we're going to get him onto the show soon. I have a friend of mine who is Black male that is a staunch Republican and a huge Donald Trump supporter. Huge Donald Trump.
How? Explain that.
And that's what we're going to get him onto the show because I want him to explain to me, because he is in favor of everything that Donald Trump is doing. He stands 10 toes down on Donald Trump, and he is a Black male, middle-aged Black male in Tennessee, in Nashville, that is a Republican and a huge Donald Trump supporter.
Here's the thing. There's the Republican Party, and then there's the MAGA Party. I think we've got to be very clear about those two, because there are plenty of Republicans that I know, and they're really grassroots. They're OG. They're baseline Republicans, and they have their position, their foundational position, which their ideology, which has always existed. But MAGA is an offshoot of the Republican Party. That is a totally different party, and I don't know, maybe it's time we actually recognize that, because there are many Republicans who do not subscribe to the MAGA ideology. MAGA may be rooted or have started in the Republican Party, but that's a very different party. So
I think it's the same way on both sides. I think you have your traditional Democrats, and then you have your very very progressive Democrats, and it's a whole different wing of. And there's a lot of your traditional Democrats don't subscribe to a lot of what the extreme progressive Democrats do. Then on the flip side, you got Republicans, what I call them the McCain Republicans, because I was
yes.
very much so a supporter. I really did love John McCain. I thought Senator McCain was a great person. I didn't agree on a lot of his policies. I still voted for Barack Obama because he aligned more with what I wanted. But this man was still about country. He was still about us coming together and debating our
decency, honor, integrity.
And still he upheld the Constitution.
Yeah.
And he fought for this country. Those, what I call the base, those are MAGA, those are McCain Republicans. Mm-hmm. They sit silent. They sit silent, either in fear or they've just given up.
I don't, it just blows my mind. It blows my mind when we think about all of that, and we think about potentially a third term. And once upon a time we could just laugh it off, brush it off. No way. But in today's time, pretty much everything that we always said, I could never see it. And even if I could, there's actually no way because the Constitution doesn't allow it. We're seeing it. But here's the thing. Whether we get Trump in 2028 or not, the big question is, will he be in heaven or not? He was asked, this is what he had to say.
You talked about how you hope to end the war in Ukraine because it might help you get into heaven. How does this help? Does this help?
I mean, I'm being a little cute. I don't think there's anything going to get me in heaven. Okay, I really don't. I think I'm not maybe heaven bound. I may be in heaven right now as we fly in Air Force One. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make heaven.
Look here, I don't have a heaven or hell to put anybody in, but I will say this: when the day comes that my Lord and Savior calls me home, and if this man has a mansion down the street, I need to speak to a manager. I need to speak to Jesus. We need to talk, because I know what I did in my life, and I know the people, and I know how the best version of me I possibly could be. And again, I have no heaven or hell to put anybody in. But if this man has got a mansion down on the down the street from me, Jesus, we need to talk. Because did you remember what he did? I'm just saying.
I'm gonna really be in my feelings. Listen, I hope everybody makes it to heaven. Let's be clear. Let's go have a party with Jesus and the Lord Savior Jesus Christ and his Father, our Father, all of that. But the criteria and the expectation is very clear.
Clear.
Love your brother and sister. Be kind, be loving, forgive. You know what I mean? Don't kill anyone. Don't steal. Like it's very clear. The requirements to get into heaven are very clear. Believe in me. Okay. Forsake all gods for me. Like all of that is clear. I'm trying the best I can out here. I'm fighting for my life out here. Okay.
Every day.
And if I make it to heaven, and I know some people didn't do all their homework or cheated on a couple of tests, I'm gonna be really upset. Like I'm gonna be like, God, can I rap with you for a minute?
Let's talk.
I'm gonna be that girl in class who always sits up front and then want to tell on everybody when they don't do their part. Because doggone it, if I'm working this hard, but somebody what I'm saying, like I got a problem with that.
Right, like Jesus, this, you made me in your image. He didn't like me. He didn't like me. He wanted to put people that look like me behind bars. He wanted us dead. But I'm made in your image. So, but he gets to come up here. I don't know. I don't know. Again, I have no heaven or hell to put anybody in. And I will say this in all seriousness, I would hope that if he wants that, I would hope that at some point that you have a conversation with Jesus, you have a conversation with God, and you repent and you pull back on a lot of what you're doing, if that's something that you want. Right. But 2 Corinthians over here, you're not interested in understanding what it means to follow Christ. You're not interested in understanding what it means to love thy neighbor. You're not interested in those things. You're interested in the self-gratification, in people admiring you and people, praising you. You're interested in being a God yourself. And that alone, I don't feel like it's gonna get you even close to the pearly gates. It don't even get you near the pearly gates from the teachings I've learned my entire life. So you can joke about it, but at the end of the day, you may not get there. But also, when you think about it, all these people that put him right next to Jesus and said that God sent him and he's all about the Christian values. He just told y'all he's not going to get into, he doesn't think he's going to get into heaven. So he knows what he's doing is not right. And all of the radical Christians that believe that this man is following principle and following your beliefs. I mean, come on now. We can joke about this all day long, but the truth of the matter is No, I can't believe that you would get into heaven with the way that you're treating humans in humanity. I can't believe that you would get into heaven, and I don't even think that you even care.
No. I'll say this. I really do hope, not only does he go to heaven, but any and everybody. And to me, it's kind of like, in all seriousness, to me, it's kind of like, if you know that you've got a bad habit that's harming your health, or you're trying to lose weight or whatever. I mean, you can keep talking about, because I don't exercise, or I haven't gone to the doctor, or whatever, and I know I'm going to die from a heart attack. Well, if you know that outcome is all pretty much certain, I would hope that you would make some adjustment, because, I don't know. I wish him well on that journey. I do.
I don't think
But
he's on that journey. He's an 80-year-old man. Once you get to that point in your life, there's not too much changing that happens. When you've put 80 years behind you. There's not too much changing in what you do, what you say, how you feel. It's not too much at this point. So,
well, dang, Sean, listen, here's somebody who needs to change what they're saying before they listen. It's one of them on sites. Don't be caught walking in the alley. Go get your boy Stephen A. Smith. Help him out, Sean.
I need Stephen A. Smith to go sit down somewhere. I need him to go take several seats and sit down somewhere, because I need stick in your lane. And
what is his lane at this point?
I don't know. I thought it was
politics. Is it?
You should have been sports. That's what you're known for. And even Serena Williams' husband told you to stay in your lane, like straight up, stay in your lane.
Talking smack about his wife. Don't come for a man's wife.
Don't come for a
man's wife. But he pulled up on Stephen and said, "You got the right one today. That's me. Keep my wife's name out your mouth."
Absolutely.
And he backed down, right?
He did. But first of all, why are you trying to pick a fight? What are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you putting your 2 cents into this world of politics? I mean, I get it. You're creating another avenue, another lane. Hey, I'm not going, that's your hustle.
It's confusing to me. Besides the fact that you have an opinion about everything, like you've got an opinion, but where are you coming from?
He's coming from a place of just anger and lack of knowledge, and he's really just trying to create sound bites. At the end of the day, Stephen A. Smith is just trying to create a sound bite. He just wants to be a topic of conversation, and so he's literally just out here just saying outlandish stuff just so that he can be a topic of conversation. And at the end of the day, that's all it is. You have no real validity to some of the things that you're saying. He literally just running out the mouth is all that you're really doing. And somebody gave you a microphone and a camera and said, go do that. And that's exactly what you're doing. So, where I respect the hustle, I don't respect how you're going about it. I don't respect your views. I don't respect anything that you're doing. You go talk. You should be talking about the Titans right now. That's what you should be talking about. You should be talking about the Titans.
Yeah. Like I mean, here's my thing. I'm all about, clickbait. We get it. The agitator. We get it. But sometimes it just goes a little too. It's just a little too like what are you doing? And at this point, it's giving. I want attention. I need attention.
That's all it is.
Contributing anything.
That's all it is. That's all.
I just can't.
You just want attention. He just wants attention. That's it. You just want attention, and that's all. And he's getting it. He's saying things,
but he ain't getting the attention that he wants, though. That's the thing. Like when you got folks pulling up on you and they're like it's on site, then
you know what? But a lot of people believe that whether it's good or bad, attention is attention. Whether it's bad publicity or good. Some people say that bad publicity is still good publicity because what's happening is exactly what we're doing now. He did something. He's saying things that's having all of us talk about him. So he's keeping his name in our mouths. So he has accomplished that for sure. Whether we agree with him or not, everybody's talking about it. And as long as he continues to keep saying outlandish things, we'll continue to keep talking about it.
His voice annoys me. Well, listen, we're going to keep talking. No BS. We're going to keep calling out the BS every day, all day, everything that happens. and we want them to join in the fun, Sean.
Absolutely.
How can they hear us?
Absolutely. Of course, you go in right now, go to YouTube, the No BS podcast, No BS with Harriet and Sean podcast on YouTube. Like and subscribe right now and go ahead and grab it and check out previous episodes as we continue to keep loading. We got some other stuff in the vault that we haven't even put up yet.
Man.
So we've got some good conversations. You're going to start to see more and more of that stuff come out. Obviously, we're on Instagram at No BS Podcast Nashville. We're on Facebook, No BS Podcast Nashville. We're on TikTok. We're on X, formerly known as Twitter, No BS Podcast. Go like, subscribe, follow on all these channels and follow us. Drop us comments. Let us know what you first topic that you want us to talk about. We'll be glad to talk about that. And we're going to continue to keep really digging into what's happening in politics, what's happening in culture, and a lot of what's happening right here in Nashville to put Nashville on the map as far as how everything in this country is affecting us right here.
Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. So we want to see you. We want to hear from you. We want to hang out with you every single week. Everybody, give us some love, and we're going to love on you back. And without further ado, I'm going to have a great week, and I hope you do too. Peace.
Have a great one.